Hello YouTube, it's Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly episode, and as usual, got some stuff to show you today. Picked out some items. We got some new stuff, we got some old stuff, and a lot of it is Mattel. We got a lot of Hot Wheels here, a couple Matchbox. Well, there's a couple non-Mattel items, but anywho, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with stuff that I actually found in store, which was one of the things. I rarely ever pick these up, but I picked up a 9-pack of Hot Wheels, mainly just for 3 cars in it, and that is, of course, the exclusive Nissan 300ZX, which is exclusive to the 9-pack. This VW Beetle, which is a multi-pack exclusive, and there is a Lamborghini Huracan in here. I don't think that one is exclusive to multi-packs, but it might be. There's a Ford Lightning in here too. That's not too bad, and then a couple of fantasy castings. But anyway, I picked it up because I saw this. I wanted this, and then I wanted to find one that had some other car in it that I wanted at least, and this one had the Beetle, so perfect. It's a casting I collect, that old VW Bug, and that Nissan 300ZX is probably a casting I will pick up every variation of as they come out. All right, so found that. Target is where I found that one. And then I found the latest Fast and Furious basic set from Walmart, and I did not pick up all of them. I didn't pick up the whole set, but I did pick up the Nissan Silvia. I picked up the Ford Escort. I picked up the Dodge Hemi Challenger. I picked up the Toyota Supra. Looks really nice in all black. And then I picked up the Mitsubishi Eclipse. So what didn't I pick up? I didn't pick up the Jeep, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, the Ice Charger, the other lifted Dodge Charger thing, and I also did not pick up the Ford Gran Torino Sport. These are like $3.25 at Walmart, so they're a bit more cost. But now that I'm looking at them, it appears that they have, at least they have headlights and taillights on all these models. So it looks like they got almost a full deco kind of situation going on with these. They're basics, but they have more tampos, which is cool. So I found that in store, and then in the mail, just yesterday, I believe, I got the RLC Jaguar, and I'm kind of pumped to take a look at this. So this is an RLC boxed RLC. There that beautiful green vehicle is. Kind of interested to get this off the base and take a peek at it. Oh, that's interesting too. It's not screwed into the base. I actually kind of like that it's not. It's kind of just got that plastic piece in there holding it. So it's actually not screwed in. So these were limited to 30,000 pieces, and I have number 866. So we will check that out. E-Type Jag. RLC type Jag, as it says on the back plate. Pretty clever. All right, so that's going to be neat to look at. And then we've got a couple of Matchbox moving parts. One or two of these I got from my buddy Dumas, and then I might have found one of them in a store. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I got a Tesla Roadster in black. We've got the 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S gray. We got the 1956 Morris Minor, which is a weird little car. So that'll be fun to look at. So we'll open up those. Then from SC Diecast, at my last meet, they had Racing Champions, which was odd. They don't normally have Racing Champions or get new sets of Racing Champions. Well, and it's odd anyway because Racing Champions really doesn't They don't release a lot of releases. Round 2 does. I don't know when they decide to release a Racing Champ, but every once in a while there's a Racing Champions release, and this is actually 2022 release 2 that I guess is just coming out now. I don't know. I picked up 3 cars from the set though, and I don't normally pick up a lot of Racing Champions, and these are all Racing Champions toolings. Normally when I pick up Racing Champions, it's the Ertl toolings that they've re-released as Racing Champions, because those toolings are really, really good. I don't always get actual Racing Champs toolings, because some of them are a little large and stuff, and I'm sure this is going to be no exception. But I thought these were cool. So I got the 1957 Chevy. I thought that looked really nice in silver. And then I got this Ford Coupe, 1950s Ford Coupe. I thought that this looked pretty cool too. And then I also picked up this 1997 Ford F-150, which I thought this one looked pretty good. So grab 3 Racing Champions. It's a little different. We don't see them too often on the channel. And then the rest of what we're going to look at is dipping into sort of, well, aside from an item or two. So I got some loose cars, and then I got some like older Hot Wheels. Some of these I picked up at the convention, at the Hot Wheels convention that I went to in Columbus, Ohio. And I think maybe 1 or 2 I picked up at the local meet. So, and I don't remember which is which, and that's whatever. I picked this up. This is a from the Hot Wheels garage. This is actually from like the set of 40 cars. I think it was 40 cars. But it's a GTO wagon. We'll take a look at it. It's actually a chase. It's got the signature on the bottom. So that's cool. I don't really care that it's a chase, but I needed that version of that GTO wagon. It's a really awesome casting from Hot Wheels. It's one of my favorite GTO castings, so had to pick that up. And then I've got, we're going to look at these Toyota MR2 Rallies, which I've got 2 carded here. Kind of a cool old casting from Hot Wheels. This is one that I keep track of what variations I have. I don't like actively seek them out, but at least I can look on my phone when I do see one and see if I actually have it or not before picking it up. So I got those 2, and then this pink one here to look at, and then I think that's it for the MR2s. Yeah. So we got those, and then we got some Nissan 300ZXs, which is an older tooling from Hot Wheels. One of the coolest older toolings, actually, from Hot Wheels. It's got opening doors. It's all metal. It's a really cool tooling. I wish they would actually re-release this, and it's fairly, like, proportionately accurate. It's not really, like, got a stylized Hot Wheels thing going on to it, which is really cool. So I've got it on card here, and then I've got 2 of the Getty promos. Well, actually 3 of the Getty promo ones. And, oh, pile them up right there. I can't really show them to you. But we'll take a look at those. It just says Getty on the top. So there is a base variation in this, which I talked about when I did my convention video. When I showed the haul from the convention, I talked about these cars. So those... And then we've got a loose minivan. That's pretty cool. So we got that guy. Then we got this BMW, which was a California custom. And then I've got a weird, odd brand. I think this is, I don't know what it is actually. China brand. Looks like it might be a Yatming or something. I don't know. It's got those orange slice wheels. Ferrari F50. And then I've got a Malibu Johnny Lightning. So we'll check those out. We'll get those out of the bags and get those ready to be put in the place of the collection where they need to live. And then I do have some more that we're going to open, actually, some vintage, more vintage Hot Wheels. We've got some Firebirds. Those guys right there. Got a Hot Bird and an 80s Firebird. We've got a VW Bug, the Randy Stuff. This is a cool one. Limited edition. I need the hot pink one of this. That's the tough one to get, I think. This one consistently, I think you can get it for around, I want to say 50 to 60 bucks, somewhere in there, maybe even 40. You can consistently find this one. The hard one is the one that's like hot pink. That one goes for significantly more money. And we're gonna open this up. The card is like water damage and stuff, so don't feel bad about it. And so that's gonna be cool. We got a path beater. This is another casting. I kind of just go after all these variations of it, and I just kind of like it. And again, I don't like actively seek them out. I just keep track of it, and when I see one I don't have, I pick it up if it's inexpensive. And then lastly, we got the hot ones, and I've got two chases to open up. The 80s Firebird and the Super Van, or the 70s Van. So nothing too cool about the chases and the hot ones, but I collect both of these castings, so had to go ahead and pick these up when I saw them at the convention, and they were very inexpensive. So pretty cool. All right, so that's what we got to look at. We got some old vintage stuff to look at. We've got that Jag, that RLC Jag is going to be kind of cool to take a peek at. I'm actually really glad they didn't screw that down to the base. I actually prefer that big time. So what should we get together for a thumbnail? Should we get like a little of everything here? Fast and Furious. That'll trigger views for sure. And then yeah. There we go. Oh, no, we got glare in there. Oh, do that. Is that going to be good? Yeah, that'll be good. All right. Or it'll be all right. All right, let's go ahead and flip the camera around. Let's take a look at this stuff. Nothing too crazy today, but should be mildly entertaining. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's start this second half of the video by first checking out the Racing Champions Mint vehicles. So if you're not familiar with the brand, they are a brand of Round 2 collectibles, same people that put out Johnny Lightning and Auto World. So, pretty nifty there. They do a great job. You guys know they're like my favorite domestic diecast company is Round 2 by far, because I love Auto World. You guys know that's my main squeeze. I also am a big fan of Johnny Lightning. Racing Champions comes in third place on that from the brands of Round 2, but they come up with some undeniably cool stuff from now and again. So this is the 1954 Coupe, and these are limited to 8,548 pieces, so not terribly limited. A lot of the Racing Champions releases, though, are pretty limited, but like I said, they do have some cool stuff. Like that casting right back there is an awesome casting. That's actually a it's actually an Ertl tooling, and it's really, really good. This is a cool casting too. So they have some really neat stuff. That's actually a really cool casting as well. So anyway, they do some cool stuff. I pick up some from time to time. I actually pick up, ratio with how much stuff they put out. I probably do actually get a lot of it. So this Ford Coupe, I did not have a version of this casting at all, and I just thought it looked kind of cool. A 50s car or whatever. Yeah, barely 50s. But here this is. So right off the bat, my eye darts right to the wheels. Whenever there's a white wall tire, that's the first thing I look at. And it's not too bad. But they are never perfect. That's like the hardest thing, I think, to get right. The tires are very, very soft rubber. Feels softer than normal. But, yeah, so Racing Champions. Philosophy for how these toolings are constructed. Typically, you're going to get a metal body, you're going to get a metal base, and that's not true for all of them. Racing Champions was kind of all over the place when they were out in like their own separate thing. So typically, you're going to have an opening hood, and there we go. Pretty nifty. Some engine detail in there. And then sometimes you will have some extra pieces and parts. Like this is a plastic piece up front for the grill. Very cool looking grill. Very you know, appropriate for the time that this vehicle was out. It's cool. I dig it. I think it's really neat. Let's see here, 54 we got on the plate there. So this one is pretty cool. We've got well, the paint in the back looks a little bit weird here, how this wraps around and then stops. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a cool car, and I just thought it was a neat one to add to my very small Racing Champions collection. It's not, I don't have a ton of stuff, but I do have, you know, quite a few. It'd be neat to just do a video on, I've thought about that, like brands that I only have, you know, handfuls of. It'd be kind of neat to just go through the whole collection and just do a video on that, just for fun. This is the 1957 Chevy Bel Air hardtop. So pretty nifty there. Let's go ahead and open it up. I just thought that this casting looked pretty good, so I decided to snag it. I don't think I have any other Racing Champs version of this tooling. None that I remember anyway. But yeah, so metal body, of course, metal base, rubber tires. It has a plastic piece up front for the front bumper grill situation up there. Wide mouth up there. And that looks kind of proportionately weird up front for some reason. Does it look like the bumper's like too big? I don't know. And then fins on account of the fins. And we get a painted white top. And then, of course, we should have an opening hood, and we do, with engine detail inside. And there's also a two-tone interior in here, which is pretty nifty as well. And this one rolls like super smooth, actually. Just the tires feel like they're I don't know why, they feel softer than normal on these Racing Champs for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I guess I'm not complaining. And then, yeah, back bumper is also plastic. I just thought this was a nice looking, little sharp looking car. And I think that's cool, especially from a profile, side profile. I think it looks really nice. All right. And then the 1997 Ford F-150. This is pretty nifty as well. The nifty Ford F-150. And it's in green. So the other thing about these Racing Champs is I don't think, now they used to do version A's and version B's. They don't do that anymore. And these were produced actually way back in July of last year. So interesting. So yeah, they used to do version A's and version B's, just like, you know, your standard Johnny Lightning and stuff like that, but they don't believe they do that anymore. And they don't put out a lot of releases. This casting's cool. My F-150, Texas plate. Again, you know, metal body, metal base, standard stuff there. Ford up front, pretty detailed. Little model, again with the soft rubber tires. Does this one have a tailgate that moves? I don't think it does, actually. No, it almost looks like it should. Man, it really looks like it should. But it is. Ooh. It does. It does move. I don't want to do it, though. We're just going to leave it back. We're going to put it back, because that is like real tight, and I don't want to open it and then get it stuck open. I'm sure it would close, but I'm just not going to risk it. And then we got an opening hood. That one snaps shut really tight. I'm sure this will snap shut too, but I don't really care about the opening tailgate. It's a nice weird kind of metal flake, greenish, bluish kind of thing. And yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat. So you guys let me know what you think about Racing Champions and their toolings. And so they haven't come up with anything new for a Racing Champions tooling, I don't think, in a long time. And they kind of cannibalize a little bit because they use some Johnny Lightning toolings in their line. They also use some, like I said, those old Erdl American Muscle toolings, which are some of my favorite 164 diecast toolings. All right, let's just quickly look at these opening parts for Matchbox. And then we're pretty much on to Hot Wheels for the rest of the video. And this one is the Porsche. And it features Nice looking deco, or just you know, your standard headlights, Porsche logo. Looks pretty good in the back there too for us. And this one has opening doors, which I could take or leave, but this particular model looks pretty good. So of course it's a Matchbox. Quality for the price with Matchbox, I would say. Most items, really nice for the price. And then this is your Tesla Roadster, all blacked out, well, except for the white interior. Go ahead and get that open. And take a peek at that. So this one also features opening doors. Yeah, I mean, Matchbox really does the headlight graphics very well, I think. Like, this looks really good from, like, a distance like that. Look at that. I think it looks really nice. You know, same with this one. Although it looks like the headlights are not quite aligned right, maybe, on this model. It looks a little bit weird. But they do a great job of the graphical details for headlights and taillights and stuff. As far as I'm concerned, like, best in the business when it comes to just putting a graphic on to replicate the headlights or taillights. I don't know if there's anyone better. And then this actually isn't black. I mean, it is, but it's got a colored, like, it's almost like a deep green. I don't know. It's weird. It's got green sparkle in it. I thought this was just straight up black, and it isn't. It's like, I don't know if that's coming across on the camera here, but that's actually kind of an interesting color. So that's a nice little surprise. And then we got, lastly, for the moving parts, we got the 1956 Morris Minor. So let's get that guy opened. This little thing. An odd little car, for sure. A little convertible type deal. Matchbox 70th on the back here. 70 years of Matchbox, which I guess we're celebrating this year. This one's got detail on in the engine, which is nice. Some of these opening parts models have detail when they have an engine bay that opens. And that one's actually got printed detail inside there, which looks pretty nice. And then we got, of course, the standard good printed detail on the headlights, except for we had a little mishap up here, it looks like. Not too bad. I mean, it's not going to be noticeable from, like, this distance. So, not great, but not bad. Is this hood plastic? No, it's metal. Paint just looks a little weird. Oh, it snaps shut, like, satisfyingly, which is awesome. And yeah, it's a cute little car. Nothing too exciting, but it's a neat little guy. Just interesting. So I like that. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Now we're going to get into Hot Wheels. I think we should probably start with this one, which I guess could be the main event for some of you. This 1964 Jaguar E-Type. Who doesn't like an E-Type Jag? I mean, just a beautiful shape of a car. So I have a lot of different brands of E-Type Jags in my collection. Several different ones. I think I've got Kyosho. I've got, I don't know. I got a bunch that I'm recalling. And Hot Wheels has put this car out right before in, like, the 100% line, which I think I got a version of that too. I don't know. I've got Greenlight. Greenlight didn't really do one. Whatever. That's kind of complicated. But I've had one that has been released as a Greenlight. That one's actually pretty nice as well. And then we have this one. So the E-Type's been done quite a few times. Is this going to be the best one? I don't know. Probably not, actually, but if we can get it out of the packaging struggles. Would you just... Come on. I'm going to break this thing. Okay, I can get it out that side. Oh, whatever. I'm just going to... Nope, I can't even sneak the model out. Are you kidding me right now? I feel like this thing's going to go flying. What is going on here? Getting out a tool. What? Get out of there. What? Why is this being held on so hard? Don't you just squeeze? Oh my god. Well, this is embarrassing. I know some of you just really like watching me struggle with packaging. Dude, what is up? Okay. Are we good? I think we're good. I don't think I just destroyed the car. If there are any flaws on it now, I guess I don't know if I did it or whatever. All right, so we got that case off. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed that. And then, ooh, okay, so this thing has a little plastic piece right there that is holding up the hood from the inside. I like how you can kind of take this apart, put it back together without tools. If the case would have been a little bit easier to open, maybe. And immediately we like to just check out the quality on these things. And this looks like I don't have any issues. RLC type jag. Very clever. And we got some taillight detail there. Base looks kind of cool. Held together with one triangle tri-point screw. That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a Hot Wheels before. We do have some engine detail. It is a beautiful Spectraflame mirror finish green. And then we got the front end. So, moment of truth. Is the hood going to shut and stay shut? Sweet. It does and did. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It does. It does look pretty good. We got the mirrors, too, which are kind of a cool little touch. And, yeah, what do we think about this one? You got a wood steering wheel, too, so there's a little bit of detail in there as well. Not too bad, but here's what I'm talking about. When I say that Matchbox does a better graphic headlight. Look at that, like, compared to this. To be honest, too, like this RLC piece, with as much as these things cost, this thing probably should have an inserted headlight, a separate piece for the headlights. For as expensive as these are, I think, you know, that obviously that would have been preferred on this vehicle, but I think it almost would have been necessary. Because the headlights do look a little weird, in my opinion. Other than that, the car looks pretty good. The only other complaint I would maybe have is it using these like standard Real Rider spoked wheels, which I guess are probably the only thing that's really appropriate for the car that I can think of that they have in their arsenal to use. I mean, it's okay. I don't know that this is worth the price that you pay for them, though. I get it, the allure is that it's Hot Wheels, it's limited, and it's got Spectraflame paint. Like, that's the big, I think, sell with these models. And that's fine. How does this go in like that? And you get a nice little acrylic display case and all of that, which this thing is going to go, well, maybe I won't put it back in yet. But, so that's nice too, but the cost of these, they're pretty expensive. I'm trying to think of what this one was. It was probably at least $30, maybe even 35. It wasn't 25, I don't think. But what do you guys think about RLC cars? Granted that you can even get them. So if you're able to score them, are they worth the price? That is the question. That's the question for today's episode. What do you think? Is that thing worth that price? Because you could spend that money and get a really kind of high-end replica of a car if you want to. But I guess it's all about what you collect. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the Fast and Furious. Basic models. Nissan Silvia S15, Fast and Furious. Here's all the other cars that would have been in the set. And like I said, I do not have them all. Skip them because I'm like, I'm not going to get the whole, why would I get the whole set? Some of them are re-releases and stuff. I don't know that this has ever been put out before as a basic. I know we've seen it as a premium. But, yeah, so that's the other thing. So price-wise, are we justifying the price on these being 3 times the cost of a normal mainline car, at least here in the US? And I think having the full deco is nice. So you can't really argue that. It is nice to be able to have all those tampo passes on it. But you still get a plastic base and you still get the plastic tires. But this is a pretty nice model. I think it's all right. Toyota Supra. This casting's been out for quite a while. But this one looks kind of killer in all black from Fast 5. Yeah, that looks pretty mean. I like that. And again, we get the... See those headlights? The graphics on the headlights? Not as good as Matchbox. They're not. They just ain't. So who's ever doing like the graphic headlight designs, the graphic arts for that, for Matchbox, you're doing a fantastic job. Hot Wheels are not bad. They're not bad, but they're just not, I don't know. They don't have the realism that the Matchbox seems to have. The Fast and the Furious Mitsubishi Eclipse. Now, we've seen this one as a premium as well. I think this might be the first release as a basic. Someone will have to let me know. I have still yet to see a Fast and Furious movie. I haven't seen any of them ever. And, yeah, you know, every time I bring up Fast and Furious cars, I talk about that. And I probably should watch the movies, but just have not. I don't really watch a lot of movies lately anyway. But pretty neat there. So again, you get the full headlight, taillight treatment, and it looks pretty good. Then we got this Dodge Hemi Challenger. I don't remember. This is from Too Fast, Too Furious. I don't remember if this one's ever been released or if it's a repeat. I'm not sure. There's some cars that were repeats for sure in this set. This looks actually really awesome. Good wheel choice on this one too. And again, we get the detail in the rear, detail in the front. Nothing to complain about with this model. That's a nice looking orange Challenger. So maybe these are worth the extra $2 just to get a little bit of extra treatment. And this Escort actually looks really nice as well. This is from Fast and Furious 6. And yeah, you get the headlight treatment on this one. I don't think I've ever seen... I mean, I know they've released this car a couple times. I don't think I've ever seen it with the headlights and taillights on this, like, blue livery. I don't recall it anyway. Could be wrong. Did they put this out in a premium ever? They may have. A little bit of, looks like weird issue with that misaligned tampo maybe there. Or it looks like some white is missing from that part right there. Oh yeah, look at the tail lights. Whoops, they're a little bit wonky. The license plate's not centered. Yeah, this one didn't center well from the rear. That's too bad. I don't think the chances of me finding another one are probably slim. I'm guessing these came in a shipper, and I was the first person to the shipper, and so I got my pick. I should have looked at this car a little bit closer and picked out a good one. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. All right. Next, we will take a peek at this Hot Wheels 9-pack, and we don't really need to pay attention to the majority of the models in it, but there are 3 in particular here, which I'm into. Rip this open. Would you? And slide the tray out. So I get irritated a bit with these 9-packs because they put out a car that I want, And then you got to buy a 9-pack to get it. These multi-pack exclusives. And you try to get a good one. This one's got a little issue right there. It's a basic car. It's a good example, I guess, of it. I like this casting a lot, so of course I'm kind of collecting this casting, I suppose. Any version of it that they put out, I'll try to get. But you got to get a 9-pack to get this car, and that's slightly irritating. I guess some of it is fun to collect because you kind of like, oh, I'm going to find a 9-pack that's got cool cars in it. But inevitably, there's always a bit of junk in these. Maybe cool for the kids to play with, but if my kids didn't already have like 1,000 random Hot Wheels, I would just give these to them, but I don't even know what to do with these. I don't even think you can like donate them because they're loose. And I don't know of any people that like take loose cars, but yeah, so in a way it's kind of a waste to throw these like fantasy castings that, you know, no offense, I mean, if you collect the fantasy casting stuff, good for you. It's just I know there's not many of you out there. So these will just get set aside. I don't know. I don't know what to do with them. This weird thing. What is this thing called? Erkensteinrad. It's kind of a neat thing. So we got some real cars in here. We got the Nissan Leaf. Not terrible. These were actually put out in the main line, though, already. And then you got this guy. What is this? The Lucid. Yeah, Lucid Air. Meh. Kind of an ugly car, in my opinion. And then we got this guy. It's Ford F-150 Lightning. Whoa. With major tampo slide. Look at that thing. Yeah, that's the correct. That is, whoops. So we got an error. I don't know. Does that make this worth more? Maybe. I don't know. I'll put that aside. I know a couple people that collect errors, so that'll be something maybe for them. I usually just give them away. And then we've got this guy here, Lamborghini Huracan in red. And I do not know if this is a multi-pack exclusive or not. So that's the tricky thing when you're looking at these 9-packs. Try to find ones that have other multi-pack exclusives. So these could show up in a 9-pack, probably like a 20-pack or whatever. If you can find them, and I don't even know if they still make them 3-packs. You could find this in, but this is an exclusive color, 2 multi-packs for this Beetle. So we've seen it in this deco before in blue and green, and then now this like sky blue, whatever. It looks pretty good. Not too bad. There's a little bit of orange peel and stuff in the paint, but whatever. There it is. All right, so that's multi-pack stuff. The last of this is we're going to get into some vintage models, and I really wanted to do this because I just wanted to get these out. Well, not quite vintage. This one's not vintage. I need to get these into their homes with the other versions of them. This is just a cool casting, this GTO wagon, and it looks so mean actually in this like flames black color scheme. Looks pretty good. You got the dog hanging out the back window. That's pretty cool. And then this one is signed, so this is the Chase version of this. Not that that matters. I really don't care that this is a Chase. I just want one version of this car. I don't need to get the regular version, so I just think it looks awesome. I love this casting. I think this casting is really cool. And then, let's see here. We got one Johnny Lightning we'll take a look at next. This Malibu. This is kind of a desirable Johnny Lightning tooling. Anytime these comes out, these come out, it's they get snapped up. And these older ones, some of these older versions of this tooling used to command quite a premium on eBay. I don't know if this one does or not. But hood opens on it. Pretty basic, just block detail. right there. And plastic wheels, plastic base. So this was probably in like the Forever 64 releases, the little tiny, the smaller card Johnny Lightning releases. It's an interesting plumish color, so that's a little weird. The wheels kind of suck. The axle's not quite. It's a little wonky back there, but it's okay. I picked it up. It was cheap. I picked it up at the convention. Someone had loose cars, and I just was rummaging through them and grabbed that. And then we've got this little weird F-150 thing. I don't know. It's like $1. I picked it up. It's got suspension. Very bouncy. I don't know. Weird off-brand thing. It's got opening doors. It's an Ferrari F50. Number 1096, made in China. I don't know. Maybe Yatming kind of. The wheels kind of look Yatming-ish. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with the triangle design back here either. But kind of an interesting little off-brand deal. Let's see. Sticking with loose stuff for a little bit before we start cracking some vintage stuff. We've got this guy here, this TV stunt team. This thing is neat. It's got a Hong Kong base on it. And the deal with these is that thing flips over, and then it was supposed to hit something on the track, and it made it do that and make it do a barrel roll. So, pretty neat. So this is the Ford Aerostar. Does not have an interior because of this metal mechanism, and I just did not have a clean version of this, and I thought this was a fairly clean one, and it was cheap, so I picked it up. And I do kind of have, I think I might have like every version of this at least most of them, of this casting. You guys know I love a minivan, so I have to get that. And then we got to move on here. Man, this second half of the video is super long. This will get into the Toyota MR2 in pink. Little bit of an issue up there. But other than that, it's a clean version of the car. I don't know. This might have came out as part of like a track set or something like that. I'm trying to think. I used to know. I don't remember now. I don't think this ever came carded. Maybe it was with toothpaste or something. Somebody will let me know in the comments. But there's your Toyota MR2 in pink. Sticking with wild colors for a little bit. We got, I think this was a California customer. This was an Aquafresh toothpaste one as well. I don't know. I think Cal Custom. It says Cal Custom right on it, so that would be it. And plastic blue base on this one. These wacky wheels, but this is very appropriate for the time that it came out. I just think it's kind of cool looking. It just reminds me of my childhood, so I had to pick it up. I thought these wheels would be rubber, but they're not. They're plastic. And that's okay. But this thing is kind of cool, right? I think so. All right. Let's look. We got the Getty Promo 300ZX. All right, so this one's I'm keeping for sure. This one with the white base. So that's your Getty Promo. These aren't going to be much different except for the fact the base colors. This one's actually painted white. So that's one variation of it. This casting has Ultra Hot Wheels. So I know everybody's favorite wheel. We got, is that tennis? Rackets in the back, some tennis balls. This casting's got opening doors. It is all metal. And it's a pretty darn cool casting from Hot Wheels. I'd like them to re-release it or put it out in something. I think that would be cool. And then we got to decide which one of these we're going to keep. Because I only need one, so I paid $6 a piece for these. These are Getty Promo, and these ones have the standard metal base. I guess we get two shots. I'm going to open one. And see how it is. And if there's issues with it, we'll open the other one. So there you go. Metal, an unpainted base. Other than that, basically the same. It's a little bit more of an off-white, and I don't know if that's just because how it's sun damaged or something like that, or if it just legitimately was that. This is a little bit more brighter white. This is a little bit off beigeish color. Again, with the opening doors. Everything else is the same except for that the base. Neat little variation there. A little black mark on the wheel, but not too bad. But that's a casting I collect. And then we got one carded that we can open. This Nissan 300ZX. This, it says it's a new model. This is the 1990 Collector Series, so I would assume this came out in 1990. I don't know, this tooling's kind of interesting to me. I don't know why it got like kind of almost like extra treatment with the opening doors. They didn't do many opening doors castings. So I just thought it's kind of an interesting tooling. Oh, look for speed points. Cool. Get that sweet little TV. Compact 5-inch TV set. Tune into your favorite shows. It's compact and cool. I wonder if anybody's got a working model of that available. I should look that up on eBay. That would be funny to see. All right, so this one's got black interior. Again, the opening doors, Ultra Hot Wheels. This one is a painted white base. And then it's got this kind of wacky 300ZX graphic on it. Pretty cool. I like these old vintage Hot Wheels. I don't really collect any Redline stuff, but this is kind of like era that I do enjoy. This in like the 80s, so early 90s and 80s models. All right, we got two more MR2s with the same livery, but one in white and one in black. So I got this. I think there's a few different wheel variations of this. And this is one I didn't have, so I scooped it up. It's kind of a nice little casting. I think they got the shape of the car pretty well done. And, yeah, just got the 5-dot wheels. Little MR2 Rally. And then we got it in black with, like, the tri-blade whatever wheels. This one had some packaging rub. So this is a reason why opening cars sometimes is a really good idea. Because this would have stayed minty. But somehow it got rubbed off on that package. And I don't know if that's just from years of it banging around in that blister and moving around and eventually it just rubs off. Or if maybe that was like that from factory. Which I guess is possible as well. But I think this black MR2 is a little bit harder to find, I don't know, than the white one. But, yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty nifty. And, all right, so what do we got left? We got this guy. Now we're just getting into these. Like I said, I need to get these open and sorted out. Path beater. Nothing too exciting, just a bright yellow truck with a plow on the front. With the blacked out construction tires. Just didn't have it with that wheel variation. I think I had it with something else, so had to snag that one. We're going to save probably the most expensive car for last. We'll do this Hot Ones Chase. So these are not old. Well, they're getting kind of old. This is from like 2012 or something like that. I think. Yeah, 2011, 2012. So these are getting a little older now, over 10 years. And we got packaging rub on this one too. On that side. Oh, it wiped off. Whew. Good. You can kind of see it here in the card. Okay. That's good. So this is the Hot Ones chases. So the chases on these just had the Hot Ones on the wheels. So kind of a lame chase as far as I'm concerned. But so these are meant to look retro, but they're not quite retro. But you get the 70s van casting, which I'm a fan of a van, so you guys know why I picked that one up. And I've got the regular version that's the non-chase. I also have the regular version that's the non-chase of this 80s Pontiac Firebird as well. And again, it's a Hot Ones chase. I don't know what the deal is with the sticker of the star up there. Maybe just to indicate, hey, this is a chase. That's not factory. And you get this 80s Firebird. with, again, hot ones. This one's all metal, gold base, hot ones. Nothing too crazy. Sticking with the 80s Firebird, this one is a bit vintage. This has got one of my favorite Hot Wheels cards of all time. This like cool little light swoop thing with the mountains in the background. It's so appropriate for the time that this came out, which would have been, I think, like very late 80s. And this is the 80s Firebird in blue with gold basic wheels. One small, one big. And I just did not have a variation of this blue with the silver Firebird with this wheel combination. So I had to go ahead and grab that from the convention. Real basic. So essentially similar tooling to this, but not the same. You can see differences here. So this is a retool kind of thing. And this is the original tooling of it. So you can see some difference. This one hooks into the back instead of having a rear rivet. So a bit different in that regard. But castings I collect nonetheless. So pretty awesome. All right, and then lastly for Firebirds, before we get into our last and final car that we're going to free the piece on, this Hot Bird right here with the Ultra Hot Wheels. This is the rarer variation of this color scheme. I think the one that's very commonly found has Hot Ones wheels on it. The one with the Ultra Hots with this tampo is, I think, the one that's a lot harder to find. And I actually got this really cheap, which I was happy to get. And this is 1990, I believe, is when this came out. And there you go. It's the Hot Bird. Very cool Firebird casting from Hot Wheels past. And a casting I definitely collect. There's a lot of vintage ones that I'm missing, like the brown one and some other stuff that's like tough to find. But maybe one day I'll find many examples of those. But those can get very expensive, so I do not have them because I'm cheap. All right. And lastly, this one. I got a good deal on this, and the reason why I did is because the card has some damage and yada yada. So we got Randy Stuff, special limited edition VW Bug. And we're going to rip it off the card. And there it is, Randy Stuff. Your basic VW Bug, but it's purple. It's got Randy Stuff on the side. I don't know what else to say about it, but kind of a tougher VW Bug to get. So I need to find the pink one of that, and then probably the grail piece is going to be the treasure hunt of the VW Bug, the original treasure hunt of it. That one's going to be a tough one. That one sells for several $100s. So yeah, one day maybe I'll add that to the collection, but it's going to have to be quite the day. All right, so that's going to be it for this episode. So a super long one today. I think we're topping in over 50 minutes, so I apologize about that. I'm kind of going slow here, but hopefully you enjoyed it. We got some vintage Hot Wheels. We got some Hot Wheels of recent. Some Racing Champions was a little weird. An RLC piece. And again, you guys, let me know what your thoughts on the current RLC is. Have you been trying to get cars? I haven't struggled too much in getting cars, so I haven't really had that much of a problem. The problem for me has been just, do I really want these for the price that they're selling them for? I think that's like the big question for me. When I could stick that some of my hobby money into something else, like either getting a vintage piece that I need to kind of tick a box in my collection, or getting something like, I don't have an example of it here, but getting, more detailed models like Inno 64, Mini GTs, stuff like that, adding more of those to the collection. Kind of cars I enjoy photographing and stuff like that a little bit more than the Hot Wheels. So yeah, that's always the debate, is where to put your diecast dollar. All right, well, thank you guys again for watching, and have a great week. We'll see you next one.